tried to get out, and the time was now.
We gotta do it again.
The mic was muted, and I'm like, fuck, because that's the only thing that's catching any sound.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that, my bad. Let's try it one more time. In
Yeah.
5,
Hold on,
4,
what's my
3.
motivation?
Yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of Sitting Down with Stand-Ups, where we never have any sort of technical difficulty. And this totally is not the second time we are recording the intro.
Why do you gotta out me like that, dude?
Well, you know, that's what I do, man. Hey, don't forget, I outed a guy that used to work for Pablo Escobar on this podcast. Yeah, so no secret is safe with me. And speaking of me, I am Justin Sakarica, one of your co-hosts. Over to my left, the very lovely Elena Gonzalez.
Hello.
And as always, we have the technical wizard, the Gandalf, if you will, of sound and editing. Daryl being the being behind the scenes, the man himself. Alrighty, yeah, it's been very slow news week. Very, very slow. It's been a very slow summer for news.
Nothing's going
on at all.
Nothing happening.
There's nothing happening at all. Yeah, it's been the most dull summer for news. Yeah. So, how is
I love that the dull summer for news has broken your Segway riff gun.
Yes, it has. Yes, my riffing has been not quite riffing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But no, yeah, it's fucking been wild out there, but, I understand, though, that you've been having some fun.
Smooth as butter.
Smooth as, yeah.
Like, so Elena, you've had fun.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have some sessions with Byron Allen to work on those. Those intros. So Elena, I hear you're into trampolines.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
No, I recently had the exciting thing for what I assume all good parents get excited about this, and I know that Daryl would, but I got a chance to take my son to his very first concert.
Very exciting.
I was so excited about that. Yeah.
And it's nice because it's this little moment of molding his musical history and also setting him up for every bad icebreaker and first date for forever.
Okay.
Where it's like, oh, what was your first concert?
Yes.
Like, I didn't want to take him to some, like, oh, Wiggles meets SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to set him with a good, solid base, so we went to Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That is a great first concert to go to.
Lock him in. The downside is I was so worried about being cool, and we have we have an emotional thing with one of the Earth, Wind, and Fire songs. You can listen to Mike Bobbitt's podcast to hear about that. But I did bad mom math.
Uh-oh.
Because the show started about 7:30, and his bedtime's about 8:30. So, yeah, between a full set from Chicago, a full set from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and then they were going to come back on stage and do a joint. Yeah, by about 9 o'clock, he was tapping out real hard, and Earth, Wind, and Fire hadn't even gone on yet.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. I was hoping that he would have just gone to sleep, kind of, because we're on the lawn, there's a blanket, he was kind of snuggled. And I will confess, feel free to call CPA. But if he would have gone to sleep, we would have stayed for the whole show. But he didn't. It was just that. I know you don't have kids, but there's this moment where if the sleep doesn't happen, then it's just cranky.
Yeah, they start getting antsy, and I have friends who have kids, and they're like, it's starting to kind of. You could see like a shift in their attitude. It's like, the full moon is out. And
that's basically
and the werewolf is coming.
That's basically what it
American
was.
Werewolf in London. You start seeing the makeup come through. So what was
your first concert?
Oh boy, I'm glad I never get asked this on dates. I tell you what.
Please don't tell me it was the Wiggles.
No, I wish it was the Wiggles. No, I tell you what. If you can guess what my first concert was, I will give you $100.
I feel like if that's the stakes, I feel like we should bring our guest in and have him guess too.
Okay, that's fine, because it is not your typical Yeah, it is not your typical first concert. So what was your first concert?
Mine, zero shame. 1989, New Kids on the Block, Palace of Auburn Hills.
That is
Yes.
that is a legit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's legit. Mine is not legit because
And it's formed one of my it's been the basis of many a great friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it's the information that had Kate and I madly fall in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a solid foundation.
Yeah, and that's good to have. I will admit I'm not the biggest concert goer. I've been to concerts. I do like live music, but I'll tell a quick funny story about a concert, and then we'll bring our guest in. My buddy, he was really into going to concerts, and the one person he wanted to see so bad was Phil Collins.
Okay.
So he got tickets to go see Phil Collins in Detroit. He talked about it all week, right? So I knew that he was going to see Phil Collins. I'm like, yeah, I got to work that night, so I can't go. So he calls me up late at night, and he's like, man, I just had like an amazing game, dude. Like, I scored 2 goals, and Nick's all pissed at me, and he's talking about hockey. I'm like, I thought you were going to see Phil Collins. Motherfucker, I forgot about the concert! He literally forgot that he had tickets to go see Phil Collins, and he went and played hockey instead. So he ended up spending like $500 on tickets to go see him in Ohio the next day because he was so mad. And I'm like, how do you forget that? How does that even...
I've done that before,
Yeah.
though. I bought my ex-husband, well, before he was an ex, but front row tickets to go see Jim Jeffries, because he loved Jim Jeffries, for Christmas. It was a whole big thing. We had it up on the fridge. It was all a thing. The night of the show, we're like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? We went to a new, like, Coney place that we had never been to. Got chili cheese fries, came home. We were in bed before 10.
Yeah.
The next day, I see photos on Facebook. Like, wait, but that's not until next Friday.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy how you can just, like, forget about it. Yeah. And I was like, but dude, like, you've been talking about this for weeks, and you went and played hockey instead. At least you had a good game. Yeah.
Yeah?
Because, you know, if you would have had a shitty game, it would have burned even more. But yeah, they spent all that money to go drive to Ohio to watch him instead. So,
Right?
yeah.
Right?
But then I did get the call after the concert. Like, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
He call in. No.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
No.
I'm rubbing off on you, man.
You've been slacking, so I was trying to help.
Yeah, I've been out of practice with my...
Should we call in our guest?
Yes,
No.
we should call in our guest.
Yes.
My crazy transitions are not on point. It's summertime. I'm relaxing and just chilling out. But anyway, we have a great guest for you guys. This guy is one of the nicest and funniest guys in the comedy scene. He's a clean comedian too, which is, in my opinion, so difficult to do, and I don't know how he does it. I mean, all the power to him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our very funny guest, the very funny Andy Beningo. Andy, come on in here, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's nice. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all, man.
Hello.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, not even
Yeah.
So what was your first concert?
Okay, so this is going to blow both of your minds.
I can't wait to hear.
It's the Wiggles.
Never been to a concert.
What?
Never been to a musical concert.
What?
my entire life. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that the craziest thing ever?
How do you know Kate Brindle and not have that be a thing? Like,
She's asked
that
me,
is...
I think every time she buys tickets for New Kids, she's like, you want to go? And I'm like, I have no desire to go see that.
We're going this summer. I think we're going to 5 shows. Not all New Kids, but we went to New Kids, and we've got like other shows lined up. It is. She has a problem, and I'm glad that I'm close enough to take part of the problem.
Yeah.
Never once.
No, so like the traditional music concert, I just never did. But I'm a huge, but comedy, I've gone to see everybody.
Right.
So Seinfeld was the first show I ever saw live at the Fox Theater.
Okay.
And then I've seen pretty much all my heroes: Kevin James, Steve Martin Short when they did the
fantastic.
thing. Jay Leno a bunch of times.
What was your when you saw Seinfeld the first time? What was the experience? Was it you with friends, with family, set the scene for what
Yeah,
it was like
so
to
it
go
was
to Seinfeld
actually
the
in
first
high
time.
school. So
Okay.
it was my senior year of high school, and I was online looking for tickets. And a friend of mine who was in my class, my newspaper class, was like, "Hey, what are you looking for?" I'm like, "I'm trying to find tickets to go see Seinfeld at the Fox Theater." He goes, "Oh, I got them. I'll get them for you." And I go, "What are you talking about?" His dad was like some bigwig at a company, and literally was like, "Oh, my dad has like a suite at the Fox. Let's go."
Oh, that's amazing.
So we went and saw Jerry Seinfeld, and it was amazing. I mean, it was one of the greatest
that's
comedians
so
ever.
good.
And that's crazy because that's like the bar of, hey, this is the first comedian I've ever seen. So it was
all downhill from there. All downhill from there.
It was pretty cool, but yeah, it was such an amazing show, and yeah, that was like the first one. But yeah, I'm more of a huge Red Wings nerd, so I'll go to Red Wings games and stuff. But in terms of music concerts, too many people. I don't want to deal with it, So,
Okay.
yeah.
If you could see any band, who would you want to go see?
In a private, no one else is around setting.
So can you say the Beatles? I know that doesn't count because they're not around anymore, but I would love to see somebody like McCartney, Springsteen, Billy Joel. Like I'm into more of the old classics kind of.
Gotcha.
So we thought about going to see Springsteen a couple summers ago, and then I think the closest show was like Cleveland, which like Kate will drive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She'll literally be like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I got a show here. I'm driving 200 miles to see the New Kids. Coming back, sleeping 2.5 hours, and then they're doing another show in Florida. I'm gonna fly out." And you're like, "What?"
God, I mean, but
So
that's
she's
dedication.
she's
That is
a
a
huge
true
fan,
super
so
fan. Yeah, that is dedication.
Yeah. She's actually canceled shows to see the New Kids, which I love because she'll go, "Hey, that show in is that a done deal or?" And I go, yeah, what's going on? "Oh, well, I hate to do this, but something popped up." "Oh, whatever, go spend time with your family." And then, 4 hours later, she's doing the selfies and there's a concert. So I'm like, whatever, go have fun. If it's like, if that's something you love to do, that's what it's all about.
I love that childlike wonderment, though, of like still being able to go and be excited about it, seeing them the 100th time. That's incredible.
And that's probably what it is like for you when you go see
It really is.
It's a little bit of nostalgia, too, I'm assuming.
And they play into, like, I will give New Kids all the credit in the world because they locked into their audience early on and have exploited us ever since, and we've been all for it because now is the time where most of their audience has expendable income, is able to travel. So when you're like, "Oh, we're gonna do a block con outside of Chicago," and Kate and Elena are going to spend hundreds of dollars to go to a conference to watch them talk about their music videos and then dress up to go to an 80s prom with hundreds of other New Kids nerds in the hopes that we're going to get to dance by them. Yeah, we're going to do that. And then every year they do a cruise and it sells out
and they're raking in the money.
Yeah, and it's like good for you because
they found their niche, their market,
and
their
people.
Yeah.
And I mean, those abs are only going to last another 7-8 years. So
you still get excited when you see them, though. Like, I mean, it's like you still,
yeah. I will say that I am not the encyclopedia of knowledge that Kate is, so it's good to have her like around when it comes to like, wait, this song sounds familiar, but I don't really know. And she's like, "Oh, this is so-and-so on this album with this release." I'm like, okay. But yeah, it is really exciting, and it's an adrenaline 12-year-old response.
Yeah.
So we walked by John, who anybody knows is really nobody's favorite.
Could have fooled me.
But we walked by him, and immediately we're like
freaking out. Yeah.
And it's like we're trying to get a picture. It's every bit of.
That's how I feel because I'm a big Red Wings memorabilia nerd.
Okay.
So I will go to these like card signings, and it'll literally be like some guy who sat on the bench, and I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, that's the guy!" And it's
So,
I know that feeling. You just it pumps you up,
That reminds me of a story here. So, the first time I ever met Pavel Datsyuk.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea who he was.
Oh,
So
no.
That growl is
so
a
this
true
was
fan
like-
growl.
way back when Westland Mall was still very popular.
Oh yeah, I used to go there a lot. Yeah.
And there was this sports memorabilia store there.
Yep, I know the one you're talking about. Yep.
I knew, like, I was still into hockey, but not very into it, so I knew the name Pavel Datsyuk. But if he were to walk by me, I would have no idea who he was. So the sports memorabilia store, they were the ones who were, like, conducting the signing, and I'm in the store, just, like, looking at all this, like, super expensive bullshit. And this man walks out of, like, the employees only room, and he walks out, and he's kind of like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, man? He's like, hello. And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking, oh, he must be, like, related to the owner.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
maybe...
some guy with stocking the pucks on the shelf
yeah,
or
so
something.
I'm just kind of like, hi, and he's, like, nodding, you know, like, smiling, and then the owner's like, get away from him, stop bothering him. So I'm like, oh, no, it's, like, the autistic son that I... Like, I feel so bad. Like, I didn't mean to, like, harass your son. So then he grabs him, and he's walking him, and then he walks him, and he takes him outside. It's
like a big line.
And I'm like, holy hell, Datsyuk.
Datsyuk, yeah.
I'm like, oh, damn, no wonder they got so
That's
mad.
hilarious.
But they just had him, like, trapped in a closet, like...
Well, and the same thing, he probably doesn't know any English, too, so he doesn't know where to go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He just walks out and shakes my hand. I remember he had big-ass hands, dude. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Hi, guy.
I met him 100 years ago when he first came to America. And the only thing he knew was, like, thank you and okay. I'd be like, hey, how are you? What's your name? Okay. You know, you like playing hockey? Thank you. And you're just like, all right, this poor guy. He's like, gotta be tough, you know.
Yeah. Oh, God, he was such a wizard with the puck, though.
Unbelievable. Hall of Famer now, rightfully so. One of the best I ever saw, so it's fun to watch.
Does your wife find hockey interesting as well, or is that kind of a loner thing for you?
She'll go to games. There's, you know, because again, it's like a concert. If you're there, it's exciting.
Right,
you know,
right.
the energy, just the game live. If it's on TV, she has no desire. And then in terms of like, I'll be like. Seriously, I'm like a little kid. I'll be like, this guy did this, and then this thing, and then back in the 90s, this guy did, and she's just like, yeah, all right, cool. So,
too many numbers. I don't.
When I go to these signings and stuff, she's just like, yo, just do your. That's like my hunting or concert thing. She's like, yeah, you go do that, be a nerd, and then you know, and go from there. So it's a fun little hobby. But.
So have you ever performed with Darren McCarty before?
I have, yeah. That was a huge thrill because again, you talk about somebody you looked up to as a kid, and then it's weird that these two worlds have suddenly collided, right?
Yes.
You're a huge Red Wings fan and a comedy fan, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, and it's the same thing. It was like they set the show up, and it was just like, you know, all right, Andy, be cool, man. Just he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
You know, and he's so personable. Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. And I'm immediately like, you were my hero growing up. And I'm like, oh, just call him fanboy it. You know, slow it down just a smidge. And, you know, he's a nice guy. We did a couple shows. I haven't seen him in a little bit, but, you know, again, phenomenal hockey player. Funny guy, too. If you, you know, if you're really a Red Wings fan, those stories are just fantastic. You know, like, again, it's like a concert. I remember doing my set. It went well. And then I'm just sitting there like this for an hour, just, you know, captivated. Yeah, and it was cool. And again, good dude, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's cool. You get to, like I said, meet your heroes, and then you know they turn out they're good people too.
Yeah,
so
it is always good to meet people that you look up to. I mean, I think I've only met one person I was a fan of who turned out to be a total dick, but he could have kicked my ass, so I didn't say.
Oh yeah, is that right?
Because I'm a huge fan of MMA.
Okay.
And when my friends and I went to Vegas to watch an event, we met a lot of fighters there.
Yeah.
Most of them were super cool guys, but the one guy who was supposed to be this like super like nice guy, he's a Christian and all. Man, he was a dick.
Was that right?
Yeah, it was Benson Henderson. Benson, if you're watching this, buddy, you're getting old, pal.
Coming after you.
You're getting old.
No.
Yeah,
we did get a new subscriber.
When we when we watch our subscriber count drop by one next time, we'll know why.
It was,
you know who it was. Yeah.
We were just in line at like a McDonald's in the casino, and we turn around and he's just there, and it was shortly after he won the lightweight belt. I'm like, oh hey man, you know, congratulations. He's like, whatever, man. And he turned and walked away, and we're like, what, dude? I'm just trying to thank you.
That's so fascinating though, because and I want to I'm gonna flip this. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
But we'll jump ahead because I want to talk about you on the cruises. But in those situations where, let's say you're on the cruise and you're at the buffet line, or you're trying to do something else, and this guy was just trying to get McDonald's. What do you think the responsibility of interaction at that point is? Because yes, to be overly rude is taking it too far.
Yeah.
But also, he should be able to just get McDonald's and not have people.
Yeah,
Of course.
I agree
Especially
with it.
somebody at that level,
Yeah.
you're getting
Yep.
hounded all the time.
Yeah.
It's probably like, I just want to eat a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Ice my
yeah.
eye from getting punched
Yeah.
all night,
Right.
you know? So
Yeah.
I get it.
So, but like we were like, oh my god, I was like, oh hey man, congrats. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
literally,
yeah.
oh hey
Yeah.
man, congrats, and then whatever, man. Then
Yeah,
like-
I think it's all on how you approach them. If it's very quick, like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
sorry to bother
Yep,
you,
yep, yep.
real quick, you
Yeah.
know. But if you're, you know, because you've done that at shows where people
Yeah.
come up to you, hey, and you're just like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're like,
just,
holy- yeah.
it's too
Right.
much. It's too much.
Yeah.
But,
Do you experience that on the ships?
well, ships,
Because it's
Yeah.
fairly
Yeah.
contained.
yeah, I saw this thing with Paul McCartney one time where he goes, I give everybody 30 seconds, and after 30 seconds, I go, well, nice to meet you, I have to go. So that's kind of my
Very
rule
nice.
thing.
Okay.
Like, it's important to you to say hi. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and great. And now I'm off to the rest of my day. Sometimes on the ships, there's not much to do, so you end up talking to people for
Right.
long, stretches of time just to because again, sometimes people are very. Interesting, or they're from Michigan, so you kind of
Right,
bond
uh-huh.
over that, or they like comedy, and you
Yeah.
just start talking or whatever. But sometimes you just get drunk people that
Okay,
like
yeah.
like any other show,
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
like, all right, I want to get out of
let
here.
me tell
whatever.
you a joke, buddy.
Yeah, so it's it's all again, I think on how they approach you. If it's very but yeah, that's.
Do you
kinda what I do.
have like not your room, but
Uh-huh.
do you have like a secret hideaway part of the ship that you can
Oh,
go?
on the ships?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you're just kind of where the passengers are at. So
Mm-hmm.
again, it's like I kind of joke about this in my act where it's like, if it goes well, it's amazing because it's like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
But if
Yeah.
it doesn't go well, it's like, oh my God, everybody's staring
It's
at
like,
you.
oh god, that's the guy.
Yeah, they
Like,
see you at the buffet, like, that's the chubby guy from the comedy, and you got a plate of crab legs, like, sorry to ruin your vacation. So it can be awkward, but for the most part, everybody's really nice. I mean, they're all on vacation, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, for the most part, they're there to have fun. So when it goes well, it's awesome. But yeah, there's like, you have your own regular room, and then depending on how the shows go, there are back entrances. So
Okay.
it's like, if
Yeah.
you eat it hard, you're like, all right, I'm taking this
Yep.
step,
yeah.
and I can get to my room and see
secret-
his,
yeah.
That's
but then,
exactly what I
if
was
you're doing a
wondering.
theater and it goes amazing, you're out in the lobby like, oh,
yeah,
hey, oh,
yeah.
man,
Oh, man.
so it's, you kind of do a little bit of both as you go, but
Yeah.
they can be fun.
At least they don't have you locked in a sports memorabilia closet somewhere.
Right.
Locked away. Yeah.
some closet or something.
Yeah.
But no, they've been it's been going good. So
Yeah. Which cruise line has been your favorite to perform for?
yeah, they're all different, to be honest with you. Not in terms of like the ships, but also like the way the shows go, and just so they're all kind of different. I mean, I've gotten to do some that I've really liked, and some that like the minute you get there, you're like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like Norwegian's kind of been like my home since I started doing the ships. It's more like kind of my audience with kind of people my age, families. So I think they relate to the material a little more.
Yeah.
I mean,
How
I
long
will
have you
tell
been
you.
doing that?
I started, I think, in either 16 or 17.
Okay.
And then you had probably about 2 years where there was no sailing. So
Why?
5, 6, 7 years.
Why? What happened? What was going on?
They just decided not to. They're like, whatever. We're just gonna dock
water's
for a little while.
boring.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A couple of years, we'll take some time off.
But it's difficult. Like, so, like, I've said this before too. Like, it's hard being funny like at your local club, right? And it's harder to be funny like across the state. It's even harder to be like Midwest. Harder to go national.
Yeah.
And then with the ships, it's international, right?
International waters.
You'll go out there and there's people from England, Ireland, France, Sweden. So it's like sometimes they don't know English very well, or they don't pick up on like American phrases or things, because it's like funny where you'll doing the show and then all of a sudden someone will raise their hand and you go, I guess we'll start the Q&A. What do you want? And then they go, we don't understand. Like, they'll tell you straight up, like, we didn't get that part. And you go,
wow.
all right, well, let me explain. This is a U.S. thing, blah, blah, you know, and so it can be sometimes pretty challenging.
Yeah, I can
so
imagine.
it's but again, it's fun. It's a good challenge, and
See, now,
it's fun to see how your
That
act
sounds
plays.
so adorable. I'm sure in the moment it's weird and kind of jarring, but there's just something so sweet that's like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
Please,
exactly.
what did you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's
It's
always
like,
the weird little like cultural differences, but like I
Yeah.
don't know, like if I'm in Japan, I'm not gonna go watch a Japanese comedy show because I'm gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, sometimes it's the only
Yeah.
thing on the ship, though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like the the singers or the dancers will
Yeah.
have the night off, and it's hey, we're gonna get this guy up there, and
Yeah.
so they think like, oh, it's like that's what's funny about comedy too, because like there's so many different styles.
Yes.
It'd be
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you just said music tonight, you just assume, well, I like the New Kids, it's gonna be
Right.
like New Kids.
Uh-huh.
I like this band,
Yeah.
and so it's it's you're
Yeah.
trying to you're trying to make everybody happy,
Yeah.
but
Right.
it can be really difficult because
Yeah.
sometimes people don't
Well, yeah, there's
like that certain kind of music
Yeah.
or you're whatever.
Yeah.
So
Like I
it's
said, the
know.
cultural differences that pop up. What have been some of the most jarring ones that you've seen on these ships?
just sometimes they throw you in situations that aren't gonna work. Like they had my favorite was we were going to a transatlantic cruise, so we were in like England and Ireland and stuff, and then we went all the way across the ship, and they had these guys that were supposed to throw knives. It was like knife throwers. And they're like, well, ladies and gentlemen, are you so excited for the show? And people are losing their minds. Like, oh, it's a circus.
Yeah.
People are going to be doing fire. And they go, sorry, everybody, it's canceled because of the waves. Here's your comedian.
Oh,
And you just see people like, we've seen
my
this guy
God.
30 times already. And you kind of jog up high. And you can feel hatred just
Oh.
coming at you the whole time.
Oh, my God.
And so, yeah, things like that I've kind of,
man.
but like I said, for the most part, it goes well enough, I guess. And so they keep having me back, so it can't be all
That's
bad.
great.
Throwing knives at you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Give us the knives. We'll do the show.
That one was one of the funniest because it was like because for the circus you don't need to know English, so I'm just up there eating it like hard, like you could hear the waves splashing against the boat, like it's just terrible, just going awful. And then I start doing I'm like I'll do crowd work. So I'm like, how are you, buddy? And this guy just stares at me, and I'm like, hello, how are you? And then she goes, we don't know English.
Oh, no.
And you go, all right, so now you're bombing for people that they don't even know what you're saying. So it's
okay.
like you just go, all right. And,
Thank you.
know,
Yeah, not only is it a bomb, it's a multicultural bomb.
yeah, it's yeah, it's funny how people hate you from different countries. All right, hitting for the that's all right. But,
Yeah, international.
That's how you
anime,
know you
Andy
made it.
Beningo.
That's it. That's
Uh-huh.
it, buddy. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
But, well, like I said, for the most part, they're really fun. I've been lucky to kind of see the world, and got the family. So the wife will come with me to some places, and it's kind of cool. Sometimes you kind of pinch yourself, like, man, I'm here or there just to tell jokes. That's kind of the cool thing. You're like, at the end of the day, I'm just telling jokes. So it's
That is really,
it's
really
very,
great.
very cool. So yeah.
Yeah, one of the talking about traveling and everything. One of the things that I was so excited to hear about is you have accomplished something even before Nate Bargatze. He got you on the SNL thing, but you've done all 50 states.
Oh yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And
Thank
Congratulations,
you.
man.
yeah. So congrats.
Thank you so much.
How long? Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Once you decided that you wanted to, how long did it take for you to?
Yeah,
fulfill
so
that?
I mean, it was something that was always in the back of my mind, to be honest with you, because I just thought like, oh, it'd be kind of cool
Yeah.
to say at the end of the day, like you do all 50 states. So it was one of those things where I started doing stand up when I was like 21. So
Okay.
I'm like, all right, if I can do this forever, if I'm like 70 and I've been doing it 50 years, if I could do one state a year,
Right.
that's like that would be awesome,
Yeah.
And so it was like, truthfully, during the pandemic, I kind of was just looking over notes, and it was kind of like, man, I've only got like 6 left.
Oh,
you know what I
wow,
mean?
yeah.
It was like, they were all mostly in the Northeast, like, Massachusetts, Connecticut, a couple of New
Hampshire,
Hampshire,
Vermont, Maine,
these other ones. And so I just kind of made a conscious effort to like, well, I'm going to really go hard after those.
Yeah.
And just kind of reached out to a couple theaters and a couple comics. And so Kate, who I work with a lot, she kind of had that as a goal as well. So it's kind of fun to kind of just like compare notes with her, like, well, which ones do you need? And she kind of had a couple, and I go, well, those are the ones I need. So let's go out and do. I think we did Massachusetts and Delaware or something together. And so, before you know it, you pick up the last one. The last one was Hawaii, which was like again, probably the hardest one to
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
And so, kind of just came, like, truthfully, kind of by accident, because I had like 49 states and was like, all right, we got to get Hawaii. And so I was actually talking to a comic in Honolulu. I was like, hey, I've got 49 states. I'd love to do 50. He's like, that's awesome. Let me know when. And then literally the next day I got an email from my cruise agent going, hey, do you want to go to Hawaii for a ship? And I'm like, this is just kind of...
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
just kind of meant to be. So
Yeah.
I flew in, did that show, got on the ship, and then
That's
we got
so
50. So it
good.
was, it's kind of crazy because a lot of people never even leave the state,
Yeah.
So it's like, again, to tell jokes, to be able to see
Yeah.
the world is, I've been very,
That's
very
amazing, man,
fortunate.
yeah.
So yeah, it's been some fun shows.
And
so.
you look great for 71.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. It's all the...
I thought he was 75.
Yeah, it's all
Wow.
the workout. I work
Yeah.
things are going well. So.
Yeah. He drinks his water, he stretches.
Well, we drink the water, but not but
Yeah.
but no, it was kind of cool. So
That's
it's
really
kind of
awesome.
neat to see the country and kind of see how the act plays. You know, and sometimes it'll surprise you. You like you did a couple in the deep south. Not to be cliche, but you're like, oh man, this is gonna go brutal, and then it ends up being amazing. And
Yeah.
you go like, maybe I should have moved here. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Mississippi or something,
Yeah.
and so you start finding like it sounds weird, but like you start finding your audience a little more too. Like, oh, this plays better here. Like some of Boston was okay, but they're a little more gruff, a little
Yep.
more. So I'm up there kind of like a teddy bear, like, hey, and they're like,
Hi,
what is this
guys.
guy doing? Like, punch somebody. So you're like, all right, try to stay out of the city or whatever, go here. So it's so it's kind of neat to just explore and see stuff. So.
That's really great. How were some of the very cliche flyover states like a Wyoming or a Dakota?
Surprisingly, those are sometimes the best because you're like the entertainer for the whole town sometimes. Like not to say cliche, but it's like I did a little benefit show actually. It was for a school that was like a Christian school, believe it or not, and they were raising funds. And the same thing, I'm like, well, I need Wyoming. I've never been there. It was Casper, Wyoming. And then I actually met somebody, Deanna Cotton, who's just the sweetest person in the world. She was running the school at the time. We've become good friends.
Nice.
So she's, so I've done some fundraisers with her, just flying out there. So sometimes, like I said, it surprises you. You
That's
go,
really great.
I'll go do this one
Yeah.
time just to cross it off. And then all of a sudden you start finding out, like I said, like your act plays really well. People like you. And so, you start turning those into regular spots. And then,
That's
like I
really
said, sometimes you go to other places and you go, oh, this isn't really, really,
This was a one and
connecting
done.
or whatever.
Right.
You
Get
know,
off
all
the
right,
damn stage, eh?
Yeah, so, but it's been, like I said, it's pretty cool. It's kind of neat.
That's really awesome. So you mentioned that you started when you were 21.
Yeah.
What flipped the switch for you? What was the first thing to get you onto a stage?
So, I actually started. So there's two starts, to be honest with
Okay.
you. So the first one was
Fair.
I was actually 18, but it was I started at Central Michigan University.
Okay.
So it started as a bucket list thing, to be honest with you. Like I love comedy, I love funny people, and it was just kind of like I always want to do this. It'd be cool to try it.
I love that you had a bucket list at 18.
Yeah.
Like that is so great.
I didn't even know what a bucket list was until I was like 30.
Yeah, it was just like I want to try it and just see, and it, like maybe sounds cliche, but it's like the minute I pulled the mic out, I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm doing this forever. This is just awesome. And so it was like an open mic, and it's kind of silly because it would be like people doing poems,
Okay,
and music. And the first time I went on stage, there was a guy who did a 10-minute poem on death and how everything is worthless and no one. And then, hey buddies, you guys ready to laugh? And I'm like, oh, this is my big debut, So like the first 2-3 years of college, I do like these open mics in cafeterias and little coffee shops. And then when I was 20, my friend Greg Ambrose and we won a contest. It was like kind of like this funniest person on campus kind of thing. And we got to open for Bobby Lee.
Oh.
So he was huge at the time from Mad TV.
Yeah.
Like he was just in the
Yeah.
prime of his career and just so funny. And so that was a big deal. There was like, I don't know, 700 college kids or something. And, he kind of just asked him like how do you become a comedian? What do you do? And it's like, he gave me the two most cliche pieces of advice, but to me it was like, oh my God.
Right.
And it's just write and get up as much as you can. So I turned 21 and could legally get into clubs, and then, started skipping night classes to drive down and do mics. You drive like 4 hours for like 3 minutes or something like that. But it was was so exciting, and like, you know, it's crazy to think like it's already almost 20 years, but I'm like, I still love I still love it so much. Just even these long drives, it's
That's
fun.
so
You know,
great.
still do
Yeah,
it,
and
you know.
again, like it goes back to your wonderment with New Kids on the Block, and you know, to have something that you love to do so much that it never loses any of its luster or its, you know, its special feeling to you, you know.
Yeah, it's still fun just talking with comics. It's fun just being in the green room and, you know, go down the steps. It's dark. It's out, you know, you just hear all these drunks and, you know, it's just, you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. So it's, I've been fortunate that, you know, comedy's been really kind to me. So, you know, got to do some cool things and travel and just meet people. So it's been a fun life.
That's
you know,
really
it's been
great.
really
When
good.
you first started doing those open mics, was it this is for me, I'm checking it off my bucket list. I'm cool that I'm doing this, or was it, guys, I'm doing this thing. I want 30 people. Come
of
out,
course.
come see me. Like what side were you?
Of
early
course.
days?
I mean, it's like you tell all your friends and they come to the same 5 open mics and you're doing the same 5 minutes, so they become very disenchanted with it.
Oh yeah, trust
right.
me, I know.
It's, you know, you go, okay, so, and then, so it's like, it's a weird thing with comedy, because like when you suck, everybody comes to see you.
Yep.
And then when you're good, people are like, we saw you. And you're like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, it's
Yeah, but
different
that was
now. Like
5
I'm,
years
yeah,
ago.
it's like
Yeah.
I'm better now or whatever. I got different stuff. So, yeah, it was just, I just loved it. Dr. Grins, we used to drive, me and my buddy, and I don't know if you guys have played there, but it's like, it was such a, still is just a magical room where if you get a laugh, it just stays with you and it pumps you up. And I love that room because you could do a little bit of stand-up, but then, you know, you could watch the show. So you go watch a feature. So when we were kids, we'd see like Greg Giraldo and Ted Alexandro and Emo Phillips, all these people, and then 99% of them were just awesome off stage to where you could go up
That's
and go,
really
hey,
great.
I'm a nerd, I'm starting off, and they would sit there and talk with you and just became a sponge and just picked everybody's brain and you know, just it's cool, you know, that people are kind and try to pass that stuff on as you move up a little bit.
Yeah.
We need more people like that in the scene that are actually like, you know,
Yeah.
they want to help the other comedians and they want everybody to get better instead of being like,
I think Detroit's like that though. I mean, from my experience, I feel like you know, there's people that started before me that are very like Bill was one of those guys that I think I just hounded the shit out of him like every week, like, can I get up to a point where he's like, dude, stop bothering me. You know? but nice guy, you know, you know. So I mean, there are people in the scene that I think are pretty supportive of comics and you know, even just podcasts and stuff. It's cool.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that, you know, a little bit of exposure or whatever too. So.
Yeah, the number of times that I've just cornered Mike Green
just
to hear stories.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yep,
and
yep. Got those road stories, you know, just from being in it, and you know, all those little things help people, you know, as they move up. And
it's one of those things. Like my more recent experience has been I'm dating again, which is terrible. But you mentioned, you know, the cliche advice of just write and get up, and the number of people that I've encountered either on a date or in conversation that are, sorry to be so cliche, but just are like the flannel white guy that's like, you know, I've always wanted to do comedy.
Of course.
Everybody's like, I'm so funny. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not here to be your coach, but I will tell you, just do it. Like that's literally all. Well, yeah, but I've been writing. You know, I got these notebooks. I got these jokes. Okay, do it.
Yeah.
I can give you 20 places right now that you can go do it.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to me that I don't think that ever goes away. I am in a much different place than you are with longevity of comedy, but do you still encounter those people? You're like, dude, I've been doing it 20 years. I'm telling you, just do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, even friends that are good comics that like I don't want to say they burn out, but it's like they're, oh yeah, how you been doing? And you're like, what's up, man? What, you working? Oh no, when was your last show? Oh, like 3 months ago. And you're like, that would literally kill me if I wasn't on stage for 3 months. it would kill me. So I mean, again, everybody gets into it for different reasons too. You know, like I think everybody is hoping that they'll, you know, do an open mic and all of a sudden be on Saturday Night Live and movies.
I think everyone thinks
like,
that.
You know, that's what everybody wants. But then, like, as you start going, you realize, like, okay, you know, like, even if it's like a bowling night where it's like, all right, I'm going to go out 2 times a week, get some beers, hang out with people. There's nothing wrong with that. If you still love doing it, you know, I got a friend of mine that's always like, I'm going to quit. And it's like, well, why? Oh, well, I'm not here. I'm not there. I'm not there. Well, it doesn't matter. If you still like it and audiences are laughing and you're still doing it, just do it. It's such a fun thing. It's you know, those things are that, you know, credits or whatever everyone's chasing, they're so hard to get, and at the end of the day it really doesn't matter,
right?
Like, it really doesn't, you know. So it's like, if you're still having fun, but yeah, you still get people that you know, oh, I'm the, you know, I've been writing, I've been doing it, and that's really the only way you can become a comedian, is just getting up and doing it a million times and doing it in different rooms and just seeing how it plays in different situations. Because I mean, you know, you play the same 4 or 5 rooms, you kind of are specific to those rooms, you know, and then you go somewhere else and you're like, oh, it doesn't really hit. So it's just, comedy's hard, you know.
Yes,
it's like
it is.
The only way you can get, you know, you just got to keep doing it, and just wherever you can. So yeah,
you mentioned being a self-proclaimed nerd.
Yes,
and do you treat comedy in the same way? Like, are you you know, spreadsheets of rooms you've played and joke sets and all of that, or is it a bit more fluid?
So when I was a kid, you know, I'd always ride my bike down to the grocery store and get hockey cards, and I was always obsessed with stats. Like, I loved this guy scored this many goals, this goalie stopped this much. So I actually have that with my shows. Like, so I've kept track of every single show I've ever done. It's in a little spreadsheet and stuff like that, and it's fun to kind of go back and you know, like I said, it's just all, your whole life is laid out in a spreadsheet. Like, I was here, I was there, I did this, did that. So that's kind of like the extent of it.
What stats are you keeping on yourself?
So it's just mostly the number, to be honest, and then obviously the states. But it, like, my spreadsheet is basically like the number of the show, the position that I did, like MC or feature or headline, open mic, whatever. And then it's always like the town, the state, the club, and then the people I worked with, and then the date.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of nice to sometimes, you know, you scroll back through things and you're like, oh my God, that was. You know, I did a show with that person before they blew up or whatever. It's kind of neat,
That is super fun.
You know, when you travel on the road, you like I said, you kind of meet people, and then it's like very funny. It's like a comedian one time, we were working in Ann Arbor, I remember, and pretty funny comedian or whatever, and like a year later goes by, and you're like, all right, whatever, and I'm online, you know, checking email or whatever, and all of a sudden that person is trending on Yahoo, and I'm like, what the hell? You click on it, it was Tiffany Haddish.
Oh my gosh!
Saturday Night Live was like way before she was famous, and all of a sudden it was like, boom, blew up overnight.
Oh, that's
and you go,
great.
Had no idea, you know. And,
that's so fun.
There's 100 people like that you just, you know, and it's kind of cool, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, going back to going to the store to buy hockey cards. I used to do that as well.
Loved it. Yeah.
What was your favorite brand?
You know, Upper Deck was always mine. Yeah, there was right after the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup, there were these little. We used to try to get this Mike Vernon Stanley Cup scrapbook was the name of it. It was a signed card, and we would go every week trying to get it. And then when I became an older man, I kind of did the eBay search. Like, this is all, like, you know, it's nice to be able to just be like, I'm buying this, and, you know, whatever. So it's it's in my little hockey case now.
Nice.
And, I love it. How about you?
I liked Leaf Limited, if you remember that. They were expensive, but they were like the shiny, real, like expensive ones, and you know, I was drawn to the colors, and ooh, it's so fancy and shiny.
Oh yeah.
But,
yeah, those were the ones that, if you had a little bit of extra money, you're like, all right, forget the, you know, the tops or whatever.
We're going high.
This is a special week. Yeah, this is special. So,
then there was a kind they had. It was like a card, but you also got those coins. Do you remember those ones?
Yeah.
My friend
Pinnacle Mint.
Pinnacle Mint. My friend still has a gold Jaromir Jagr coin.
Tell him to give me a call.
He has all of his hockey stuff still too. Like,
is that right? That's cool.
His favorite goalie was Tim Shovelday.
Old Red Wing.
He's got a signed Tim Shovelday jersey.
Is that right?
Yeah, he also He also won a signed Keith Tkachuk jersey.
No kidding.
And he wore it to school one day. Wow. And we're like, what? And he spilled chocolate milk on it and got mustard on it.
No.
Like, why? Why would you do that?
That is maybe my biggest pet peeve in the world. Like, we'll be at a Red Wings game and all of a sudden I'll just be like, my wife's like, what's the matter with you? Like, he's wearing a signed jersey at the game. Like, cares? What are you doing?
You don't.
Idiot! It just goes in a frame, and you gotta get it in front. My wife's like, "You're the biggest nerd."
But it makes sense because it's like you don't want to ruin it. And
No, you don't want to ruin it.
Tell people about it. Put that in a glass case.
But there are two distinct types of collectors, and I've never thought of that before.
Yeah.
It's the Star Wars toy collector that
Yes.
wants to play with all the stuff,
Yep.
and the one that don't touch,
take
don't
it out of
even
the
look
box.
at it.
Yeah.
Temperature controlled.
It's got a crease in it.
Exactly.
So this will probably make you cringe so hard.
Oh no!
So
Here we go.
My buddy's dad was also a big time card collector when he was younger, and
Awesome.
he Bobby Orr rookie card.
Uh-huh.
But it was ruined because what he used to do when he was younger, he would take the cards and play hockey with them, and because Bobby Orr was his favorite player, he would use them.
Beat it out.
And I saw it. I mean, I'm sorry, I've seen the card. It was just a mangled,
Destroyed.
and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's worth nothing. But it was a genuine Bobby Orr rookie card that's worth.
My dad always say that because he's like, yeah, we used to have like Mickey Mantle cards and we put them in the spokes of our
Yeah.
bicycle, and you're like, because he's like, it just made an awesome sound, and it's like, yeah, it's funny because like I always like said very. Just a memorabilia nerd, you'll go on these auction sites and they'll have cards from like the 50s, and they're all mangled, like just the corners are beat up, and they'll still sell for like thousands of dollars because it's like that's the best
only one,
condition.
right.
They rate it out of 10, and it'll be like a 2, and it still goes for like
it's not mint condition,
$12,000 because that's the best one in existence. So it's kind of fun, kind of nerdy, but yeah, it's pretty harmless, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Anything that I had signed would probably not be on a shuffleboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Oh, that's a pretty sweet piece. That's awesome,
yeah,
actually.
So but no, it's I mean.
Did he hit anybody in the face with that?
Oh, I wish he would have.
Game used.
Did
Did
hit me.
he? Yeah, there you go. That's awesome.
After the show, he beat all of our asses. And he goes, oh! And then I drive him back to the hotel with a broken arm.
There you
so.
go. That's awesome, man.
But I just like it's crazy how some people they get something that someone else can revere so much. I'm like, I'm gonna wear it and
Oh
spill.
yeah, there's like you
shit all
said,
over.
different kinds of collectors.
yeah.
Some like to
Yeah.
wear it and show it off, but man, you get that mustard stain on it. That kills my soul. It kills my soul.
Yeah, because it doesn't come out.
Doesn't come out. It's
Yeah.
ruined.
Yeah. What is your favorite piece of hockey memorabilia that you have?
Oh, I've got a lot of cool stuff. I love these. So you get them sometimes in these auctions, but goal pucks. So they're actually the pucks that were scored in games. And my favorite is I have a Brett Hall. If you've ever heard of Brett.
Oh yeah.
But the exciting thing is it was assisted by my favorite player of all time, Steve Yzerman.
Oh.
So it's in my display case, and that's the one that. I'll walk in and look at it and I'll go, somebody who's been in my case, and kind of line it up. It's like the perfect, it's like so lame. I'm just like dusting it off and all this stuff.
I'm
but
excited.
It's my favorite. That is,
that's awesome,
the greatest
I'm
piece,
excited for your house to be part of a heist movie
It's-
because I feel like that's how it's gonna happen. Like, wait,
Oh, yeah.
somebody touched,
Yep.
and that's how you're gonna figure it out.
My family was laughing at me one time because I was on the road and I came back and something was out of place and I was like, was someone in here? And they just all laughed. They were like, we moved this because we knew you were a psycho and didn't notice that we moved it, and it was so embarrassing. I was just like, all right, but I knew exactly where it was.
You're
but,
just like Andy Wilkes from freaking Misery.
not that extreme, but
The
yeah, I'm not
penguin
gonna.
always points due south.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kidnap Pavel Datsuk or anything. I don't think. It's
Oh my!
still
that would
early
be-
to say, but
That could be another great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's driving his car and he breaks his legs, and you're taking.
Yeah,
I
I
your
have
number one fan.
there he is, number one.
I have one piece of sports memorabilia, but I'm baseball. Hockey. I stopped following hockey.
Yeah.
In the '90s after my crush on Eric Lindros disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
just he was a poster boy. But my son, his first footprint, like where you put the ink on it and snap it on, is on a game, a World Series game ball.
Oh, is that right?
And
Cool.
so he, I was never having kids, and the Cubs were never winning the World Series.
right.
And then
Yeah, exactly.
How'd that turn out for you?
2016 happens,
You never
and
meet Joey McIntyre, right? All these things
exactly.
that never- yeah.
And so now I have a son named Wrigley with his
Yeah.
feet on a World
That's
Series
amazing.
ball, and it's
That's really
signed.
cool.
We had it signed by my OB.
Nice.
So that's my one.
That's very
my
cool.
one sports.
Yeah,
piece.
my house looks like a memorabilia shop. It's embarrassing, and sometimes I'll go down in the basement and be like, I don't remember buying this. And so that's when you know you got a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no.
I think I still have a signed Sergei Fedorov card at my mom's house.
Awesome. Sergey was the man.
Yeah, he dated Anna Kournikova for a little bit.
Yeah.
That didn't work out for him.
That was everybody's middle school crush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you had to be part of the Russian Five, too.
Yeah.
I've actually got a funny Red Wings story.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this was probably 2016, 2017, I think. We were foaling. I don't know if you know what.
What was it?
Foaling.
Okay.
Where you throw the football at bowling pins.
Oh, okay.
Super fun.
Did you know that?
That is one of the most fun things to do.
It sounds amazing.
Oh, it's great. And like you go and you throw footballs at bowling pins, you get drunk, and
It's set up like bags. Like so
Okay.
the
Yeah.
things are on those.
Gotcha,
Yep.
yeah. So we're on one lane, and there's this group of cute girls next to me, and then there's this group of guys on the other side, and I'm kind of flirting with these girls a little bit. You know, they're laughing. I'm trying to impress them, and then they're also flirting with the other guys, and I'm like, those motherfuckers trying to scam on my squirrel. What's going on
Sure.
here? And I'm telling my buddy, I'm like, yeah, those guys over there, they're trying to. And he's like, dude, you have no chance. And I'm like, why? He's like, take a good look at who they are. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck they are. It was like Justin Abdelkader, Dylan Larkin, and I think who's the guy that got the big scar across his face? Was that Drew Miller?
David Bowie.
No.
David Bowie. It was actually David Bowie.
Yeah.
He was a hell of a hockey player,
Yeah.
man. He could skate.
That lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
I realized
hilarious.
it was them. I'm like,
No chance.
I can
Yeah.
see you guys can go ahead and take the women because
That's
all they have to
hilarious.
say is we are the Red Wings, and,
That's so
and then Abdelkader would have beat my ass.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a tough
That's my
kid.
favorite part of any of these stories. It's always like, okay, you guys can take the win.
Yeah, I was gonna,
yeah.
Can't make their own choices.
Yeah, sorry. Yep. Here's their birth sale.
Just hit him with a hockey stick, grab him by the ponytail,
Yeah.
just go.
Yep.
Just take him. Just take him. So I very much, just in life, like to stay kind of in the moment and very gratitude and all that.
Yeah.
So this question goes entirely against it.
Okay.
But you talked about your bucket list and it was doing comedy.
Yeah.
Continuing to do comedy, doing all 50 states. What's next?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people have asked me that. And,
See, and that's why,
you know?
because it's like, that is so great and awesome and just continuing to do it. But I get a vibe that you're the type of person that is like, that, and this is me projecting, but that like you are kind of always looking to something.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it's good to stay motivated. And a lot of times stuff just kind of falls in place. Like, you're not really looking to get, I need to get this or do TV or this or that. Sometimes just opportunities pop up and you go, all right, I'll take advantage of that. But right now, it sounds weird, but my big goal is just to try to stay home more, to be honest with you.
That's really great.
My kids are, getting, not older, but, you're like...
How old?
My daughter's 10 already, and so you go, well, we've only got a little bit of more time before she stops liking me. That's number one.
Yeah.
So I've really kind of been on the road a lot over the last 20 years, and so I don't want to say like take the foot off the accelerator a little bit, but again, it's just having fun with the shows I like doing, working with people I like to work, and then in terms of like goals or anything like that. Nothing really on the moment.
That's really great.
So it's kind of nice to, just enjoy life and
that's
if something pops up,
that's
then
awesome.
I'll definitely jump on it. But nothing exciting in the
No,
works.
but that's
unfortunately,
very exciting. And without getting too sappy, I know exactly what you mean. Kids are magical in that way of, I'm in my mid-40s, but a lot of times I look back on stories from 25 years ago and it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I have no concept of time. But I look at my son who's 7 and it's like, oh no, these last 7 years have gone way too fast.
Yeah.
And in 7 years, that means he's gonna be 14 and then almost it's like it's an entirely different
life.
Tell me all about it.
yes.
I have a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And it's like, what? Where did this happen?
That's what I'm saying. It's tough being on the road because you do miss out on a lot of stuff, and then you just those little moments you never really get back. You know, it was like probably the worst thing in my entire life was we were throwing a birthday party. It was a 1-year birthday party for my son. All the family was coming over and stuff like that. I was supposed to fly back from a cruise ship, but there was a massive storm, knocked out all the flights. Couldn't get to Atlanta. Couldn't get anywhere. So I literally missed my son's first birthday party.
Oh man.
He's not gonna remember, but I'm going
but
to.
you are.
And so you just go. I'll never get that back. Sure, you got to 2 or 3, and now you just take time off, and you go. I don't even want to risk it.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, would he care? Probably not. But I go. It's it's a special thing. So again, comedy's been really great to me, but sometimes you do miss out on life, and so I'm just in a position now where, like, truthfully, I've been very lucky to be able to do more than I ever thought I'd be able to.
That's
so now
great.
it's just like, let's just kind of enjoy life, and as things pop up, take them if you want, and if not, then
try and stay local or go to Hawaii, whatever.
That's
it's nice to have options, I guess, if that makes sense. It's nice to be able to pick and choose, but in a fortunate spot to be able to do that.
That's absolutely fantastic.
What shows do you have coming up this summer?
Yeah, well, Kate, Brendel, and I were doing the Interlochen Center for the Arts coming up on July 23rd, and then I'm doing a new comedy club in Niles. The
Underground.
Underground, yeah. So we're doing that this weekend, so I'm really excited about that. And then a couple other things going on, a couple ships in August, and then pretty busy schedule, which is nice. It's like I said, I still love doing it, still love getting up, and it's funny. It's like I still get excited. The same excitement getting shows now that I did 20 years ago.
That's
still that
really
right,
great.
so it's so I still like working, but pretty busy schedule coming up,
awesome.
so it's exciting.
Where can people find you? Social media, website, what's
just my website, andybeningo.com, BENINGO, and Beningo.
I feel like
Beningo was his name.
Easy way to remember it. But Instagram, Facebook, I think it's at Bingo Comedy. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not as, everybody's on social media all the time. I'm just like, whatever, post a couple things, but not as active as I probably should be. But always love hearing from people, comics, always fun. So.
Love it. I am at Gonzaleza on all the socials, GONZALEEZA. Coming up for me, I am going to be in the end of August at the Laughs on the Lakeside festival out in Muskegon. A lot of great comics going to be hanging out for a little summer camp kind of weekend. That'll be real fun. Let's see, and then in September, the big show that I'm want to push people to, September 21st in Owasso. So that'll be myself and Ree Ledbetter. Potentially Kara Karach is gonna stop in and say hi too. But it'll be a fun night. And if Kate's around, she'll come out too, because she's always when we do stuff in Owasso. So come see me.
You can follow me at Random Banana Entertainment on Instagram. I have a show coming up August 17th at the new and improved and reopened Bearded Lamb Brewing Company in Plymouth. Come check it out. They've done a complete revamp. I have been in there seeing the inner workings. It's going to be so awesome. Same great staff, same great beer, but a whole new look. I will also be running my shows in the fall at Rustic Crow Distillery in Dearborn, Dearborn Brewing in Dearborn, Downey Brewing Company in Dearborn, Rustic Crow in Belleville, and Grafton Tavern in Carlton, Michigan. And to end on this, the first concert I ever went to.
Oh, right!
It's been eating at me this whole time. I'm like, what is he gonna say?
Okay, wait. I do want to put in a guess. Let's see. Can I ask one question, and we'll cut it down to $5?
Okay. Yes.
How old were you?
I was, I believe, 7 or 8. I think.
That changes my guess.
Okay, so I'm gonna go the Polish Muslims.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna originally guess Dave Matthews because I thought maybe it.
My second guess
Be
for
a
some
guy.
reason is Winger.
But I like,
don't think your dad would want
I
to go
was
to
gonna say
Winger.
Journey, maybe.
Not Journey, no. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live and in concert. The Coming Out of Their Shells tour.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, if that counts, I have been to a concert. 'Cause that concert was awesome.
Did you go?
I did.
Yes!
I did.
Fuck
Dude,
yes! You've been to a concert.
there we go. We can count it.
Yes!
Oh my
Amazing.
goodness!
Amazing.
All these
Oh.
other bands are getting back on the road. Maybe
They need to,
Yes!
yes.
We were probably at the same
Middle-aged
one.
need-
Dude, it's probably
need-
was.
Yeah.
Was Vanilla Ice there?
No, this was
Oh, okay.
just Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo.
They crushed it.
They did. Yes, it was something else.
It was
Yeah.
the Summer of the Ooze. It was amazing. Still got the concert T-shirt and the amazing.
I am so glad
Oh,
that another
I
human
love
being
this
can
so
verify
much.
that this happened because people don't believe me. I'm like, no.
Oh,
they
that's
didn't
so
see me.
good.
I was there.
Yes. Even Splinter had a song. He sung like a...
Wow.
Man. It was like how like Eminem or Ed Sheeran will be like, hey, I got a guess, and it's the same way they're like, we got a special guest, Splinter. All the kids are like,
Yes.
oh my god,
He's
he's here. This is sick.
It was amazing. I will never forget that.
Oh,
And it will never be topped.
Never.
It will never, because...
that's why I've never been to another concert. Can't beat that.
You really hit the pinnacle, Andy. It's
Yes.
amazing. It's top. Really.
Yeah, oh man.
Oh, I love you both so much. This is ridiculous.
Yes.
That was a surprise on two
Yeah,
levels.
yes, that was
honestly,
an incredible surprise.
We
yes.
just became best friends.
Hey, do you want to go to karate in the garage?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
It's gonna be like Elena and Kane.
Right,
It's
that's,
like you guys.
Yeah.
that's basically what happened
Yes.
on the New Kids film.
Oh, it was amazing. So, wow, what a way to end the show. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you all next time.
And the time was now.